Hey everyone, Attorney Matthew Legan Sanchez here. Today let's talk about military divorce in New Mexico. So the similarities with a military divorce are going to outweigh the differences. Military divorces are, for the most part, very similar to a traditional divorce. You're going to need a marital settlement agreement that divides your property and your debt, and you're going to need a parenting plan that deals with custody, time sharing, and child support. So both a traditional divorce and a military divorce, they're going to have more similarities and they're going to have differences. With the filing, there's going to be some differences. With filing a military divorce, you can file in New Mexico if you or your spouse have lived in New Mexico for 6 consecutive months before the request is filed. Also, you're going to be able to file for divorce in New Mexico if you were living in New Mexico for 6 consecutive months before you entered the military and you intend to return to New Mexico after your service is complete. So in either of those two situations, you can request for a New Mexico court to grant your divorce. A military member's pension is community property in New Mexico, and it can be split 50-50. So this means any pension that is accumulated during the marriage is subject to being split 50-50. Anything before the marriage, that's separate property. Anything after the divorce, separate. But during the marriage is subject to a 50-50 split. When children are involved, military members commonly wonder, is this going to impact my visitation? And it can. It can impact your visitation if you're not around the children, if you're not bonding with the children, if you're in another state, if you're deployed. All of these factors can impact the time that you're sharing with your children, the bonding, the attachment, and that can become a status quo that can impact long-term time sharing. And it's not just with men, women as well are military members increasingly, and it same goes. It's not just a man only thing. If the woman is in another state, not spending time with the child, if the woman is deployed, the mother's deployed, then these can impact the bonding, the status quo, the familiarity, and that can create a status quo in the short term that then impacts time sharing in the long term. Another big difference between traditional divorces and a military divorce is the Service Members Relief Act. And what this Relief Act does is it gives military members more time to respond to a divorce or a custody case if they're overseas or if they're actively involved with the military. The Relief Act is going to give you 90 extra days to respond to a divorce, to respond to a custody case. You're going to need to be properly served with the documents, and it's also going to prevent a default judgment from being entered against you. Courts don't like just default judgments, these I got you gut judgments where someone's not served or someone doesn't have proper notice. The court is going to want to decide custody cases, divorce cases on the merits. Courts prefer to decide on the merits. So the Relief Act, part of it is this desire to decide issues on the merit other than these default gotcha type of divorces or custody cases. All military divorces, they're different. They have different facts. Your case is going to be different from the next. If you have specific questions about your specific case, talk to an experienced New Mexico divorce attorney. Talk to me. Talk to Attorney Matthew Legan Sanchez by calling 505 Sanchez today.